Hey everyone, welcome into Siren Records Monterey. It's Fresh Catch Friday. If you're new to the channel, this is where we discuss some of the new releases, reissues, and represses that came out today on vinyl, as well as a pick of the week. There will be a list posted down below that is pretty much, a lot of what came in today and with prices for you to peruse at your leisure. But anyway, we always start with a pick of the week. And I usually don't like to pick reprints, represses, reissues and represses, but that's what this one is. But it's only because it's such a great one. And it is Candy Claws, Cirrus and Calypso in the Deep Time. It's the 10th anniversary of this, and it is from Two Syllable Records. This is double vinyl with a CD single insert, a distortion spear. Anyway, this is a gatefold. It's a very coveted collector's item. It's a cult classic shoegaze album. Cirrus and Calypso in the Deep Time by now defunct Fort Collins band Candy Claws is now reissued for its 10th year anniversary. And the deluxe gatefold package is complete with 2 LPs pressed on what they're calling, from fresh cut lacquers in 2 shades of jungle green vinyl. Includes the original album, the rare dual mono mix for the first time ever on vinyl, and the brand new single Distortion Spear that was recorded by the reunited original lineup of the band. The 10-year anniversary runs is the biggest pressing of Cirrus in its decade-long history, and you don't want to miss this because it is absolutely great stuff. So that's my pick this week, and wow, don't be shy, check it out. Okay, so moving on. All right, first up I'm going to tell you about Atmosphere, and this is Sad Clown Bad Dub 2. It's on Rhymesayers. Now, Sad Clown Bad Dub series first started as a string of limited cassette tapes and CDRs for Atmosphere to sell exclusively on tour. And originally released in 2000, Sad Clown Bad Dub 2 was rather stripped down DIY release. A simple CD tucked behind an illustrated cover with a handwritten track list and liner notes. The recordings were equally as rough. They kind of consist of a dozen raw 4-track demos that hadn't been treated to any sort of mixing or mastering. So although Atmosphere initially produced only 500 of these copies of these CDs to sell on the road for extra cash, the buzz and subsequent demand from fans eventually led them to press more of the CDs, and this time stamping the cover art with the phrase authorized bootleg. It was kind of a sly nod to those people who'd been ripping and sharing the files. The unpolished nature of Sad Clown Bad Dub was no deterrent from the appeal of its contents, though. Generally considered an underground classic in hip-hop circles, Sad Clown Bad Dub 2... Take a break. Now let's just wait for the motorcycles, shall we? Every single Friday. It's unbelievable. All right. This is often mentioned as one of the standout releases in Atmosphere's extensive discography. It's a very deeply introspective project that explores a range of complex thoughts and emotions, counterbalanced by occasional moments of very darkly humorous sarcasm and wit for the first time ever on vinyl, and you can get that now. And there's probably an alarm went off outside due to the shaking of the aircraft that just went over. So hopefully somebody's going to shut that down in a minute. All right, let's carry on. This is Azimuth, and it's telecommunication jazz, the Jazz Dispensary series on Craft Recordings. This 40th anniversary pressing of Azimuth's funky samba installation of a fusion record telecommunication here. It marks the first vinyl reissue of the album since its original release in 1982. This electronic jazz opus by the Brazilian trio was remastered from the original analog tapes by Kevin Gray and at coherent audio and pressed on 180-gram black vinyl at RTI, limited edition. It stopped. Okay, and here we have Bolt Thrower, Mercenary. This comes to us through Metal Blade, and it's the sixth album by the British death metal band Bolt Thrower. It was recorded at Chapel Studios in Lincoln, England in December of 1997 to January of 1998. The album was produced by Bolt Thrower and Ewan Davis, and it was released on Metal Blade in 1998. The cover painting is titled Contact, Wait Out, which is also the first track on the album, Honor, Valor, and Pride. This is on yellow and black marble vinyl, and it's telling us that on the sticker. Yeah. Okay, next up, wow, haven't heard from these guys in a while. The Boo Radleys, this is called 8, and it's on Universal UK. Now, the band's second album since their reformation is uncomplicated, comfortable, and a grand tour of their quintessential distinct style. 8 isn't a groundbreaking album by any means. It may lack some of the daring color and defined the band in their early years. But the lyricism is uncomplicated and it's easy, and the themes that fit well within the group's regular wheelhouse. It's sure of itself, and like a long-delayed love letter to the Boo Radleys by the Boo Radleys, and it's worth a listen for longtime fans and Britpop newbies alike. And it's on translucent red vinyl, and it's telling us that right there, just the way we like it. Okay, here's a reissue of Cardi B, Invasion of Privacy, and this is on Atlantic. Now, this is the debut studio album by American rapper Cardi B. It was originally released in 2018 and by Atlantic Records. It's primarily a hip-hop record. Invasion of Privacy, though, also includes trap, Latin trap, and R&B. And since its release, Cardi B's put miles of space between herself and her former status as an underdog. These days, she's a lot flashier and has much bigger things to brag about. In the midst of her initial breakout moment, Cardi took the time to kind of tell naysayers about her historic level up. And in the wake of Invasion of Privacy, there's no need for a reminder. So on her debut album here, she showcased a level of craft and all-around power that folks can't forget, even if they wanted to. So this is limited edition 2 LPs on clear vinyl, and it's part of that Atlantic 75 years, that we keep talking about every week, that they've reissued all this stuff on clear vinyl. So I think years ago when this came out, I think it was my pick of the week at the time. But anyway, it's good. Okay, then this is Dinner Party, Enigmatic Society, and it's the Sounds of Crenshaw label. It's a next offering from the multifaceted Grammy-nominated supergroup Dinner Party, full of opulently intricate instrumentation and a range of sleek R&B to smooth neo-soul vocals. Enigmatic Society is mesmerizing in its entirety. The album features brilliant performances from the debut Dinner Party crew with additional help from guest vocalists and producers. Enigmatic Society, it serves as a follow-up to the group's 2020 debut self-titled album and continues as a celebration of Black joy, life, art, and culture as it pays tribute to the duality that manifests in both the beauty and adversity in Black America. This deep sense of community and family flows throughout the project, with the album's artwork designed by Kamasi Washington's sister, artist Amani Washington. This is on highlighter yellow vinyl. It's limited to 2,000 copies, and it does tell you that on the sticker. Okay, now we have Dropkick Murphys, The Meanest of Times, and this is on Spirit SMA. Okay, Dropkick Murphys come out swinging with their sixth studio album here, The Meanest of Times. It is a collection of tales about family, loyalty, and remembering where you came from. The Meanest of Times contains all the best elements of a Dropkick Murphys sound, a complex, kind of distilled classic punk rock, Celtic folk, and American rock and roll. This album puts the band's diversity, intensity, and sincerity on full display. It's limited edition, clear green vinyl, and it tells you that right here at the barcode on the back, okay? All right, here's the front bottoms. You are who you hang out with. This is through Wea and Fueled by Ramen. They return with their first new album since 2020's In Sickness and in Flames, And You Are Who You Hang Out With, and it coincides with the 10-year anniversary of the band's breakthrough 2013 record, which was called Talon of the Hawk, which they will tour in celebration of that. The lead single here, Outlook, combines all the best parts to Front Bottom's aesthetic. The track begins with a self-titled era acoustic arpeggio, only to explode into Back on Top era jam session. So Brian Sella, whose vocals haven't changed a bit in 15 years, is at peak form here, and he glides atop backing harmonies, turning in every sonic direction. To top it off, drummer Matthew Yulchik keeps at a blistering pace with Sella, and together they roar towards the album's triumphant finish line. And I think that this is on neon coral vinyl. It's limited edition, and it's telling you that on the sticker. Okay. All right, next up, this is a 4 LP box. It is The Grateful Dead, Dick's Picks Volume 1. This is Tampa, Florida, December 19th of 1973. Okay, 4 LPs. It's through Real Gone Music. And the road to Dick's Picks Volume 1 began in 1985 when Grateful Dead archivist Dick Latvala, sat bassist Phil Lesh down and virtually forced him to listen to some of the tapes from the older shows. It took Dick 8 years to get the band to agree to release the first volume of Dick's Picks, and the second one didn't come until 2 years later. But Dick's persistence paid off with a series of live recordings that revolutionized the way bands approach archival material. Now on the 30th anniversary of its release and the 50th anniversary of the show itself, Real Gone Music are proud to reissue Dick's Picks Volume 1, remastered for vinyl by the great Jeffrey Norman, who works a lot with remastering Dead stuff, and he, other people, and the guy's, the grandmaster numero uno here. Anyway, so he took from the original analog tapes for the first time because the previous LP release was taken from digital files, okay? So right off the bat, it's easy to understand why Dick chose this show. It is kind of universally considered one of the best ever, this piece of seamless and gently swinging ensemble work featuring lyrical Jerry Garcia guitar leads and the essence of the band's mythos and appeal. It's all right, we'll wait. Do you ever see anyone else having this trouble on their channel? No, nobody. What the fuck? God. Okay, so throw in a great rendition of the rarely performed Nobody's Fault But Mine, and it leads into a stellar 16-minute jam that flirts with a full-fledged the other one, but dances spacily away, and moving Stella Blue before the Around and Around finale, and you have another legendary night. In fact, the last night from a great year, 1973, of touring. And as such, the perfect way to begin a long, strange trip that Dick's Picks series has going here. And the releases actually, it includes some material, features like the long-lost Phil Lesh bass solo that was left off the previous iterations of this show, and with lacquer cutting by Clint Hawley and Dave Polster at Well Made Music, and pressing on 180-gram black vinyl by Gotta Groove Records. The sound on this 4 LP box set, which again comes straight from the original analog tapes for the first time, is simply sublime. Its original graphics are included. It's limited to 3,000 hand-numbered copies, and I'll show you that, like, right there. You can see that, okay? So, very nice. Okay, now we have another reissue, a lot of reissues, and a lot of green vinyl for some reason this week. Guster, Keep It Together. This is through Network Records, the 4th studio album by the band Guster, released in June of 2003. The album was recorded from 2001 till 2003 in many places like Bearsville, New York City, Burbank, California, and Shokan, New York. And this is the first album by Guster with Brian Rosenworcel on kit drums instead of hand percussion. Keep It Together is the 8th track from Guster's 2003 album of the same name, and the song tells a story of a sea battle, shipwreck, failed rescue, and survivors founding a new colony. However, The verses telling the story are sung in reverse order, which is kind of a neat little spin. It's a pretty arty album, and it's a limited edition on Kelly Green vinyl, and it tells you that on the sticker. Okay, where's my mic from Mike's Got the Spins? Here we go. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, live in Sydney. 3 LPs. This is a Fuzz Club official bootleg, and it's through Fuzz Club Recordings. Now pressed, this is the info here, triple LP box set on colored 180 gram vinyl. I think the color is like pink, gold, and blue vinyl. Okay, it includes a 62 by 62 centimeter poster, which is, that square is probably, I want to say, like 24.5 to 25 inches through. That's about what 62 centimeters is. The artwork and remaster exclusive to Fuzz Club bootlegs. And this King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards live in Sydney was recorded when the prolific Australian group descended on the Enmore Theatre in Sydney, Australia on April 22nd of 2021. Comprised entirely of King Gizzard's microtonal material. The resulting 16-track triple LP draws heavily from their recent KG and LW records, as well as 2017's Flying Microtonal Banana. This bootleg is remastered exclusively for Fuzz Club and arrives as a triple LP box with new and exclusive artwork by Elzo Dirt. Each box also includes the poster we were talking about, and it's a limited edition of 666 copies. And it's tells you that here. Okay, more coming next week too, so don't sit down. All right, these guys are so productive, my God. All right, this is Luna, Days of Our Nights, and this is also through Real Gone Music. Galaxy 500 co-founder Dean Warham took his penchant for crafting sneaky, hooky indie pop songs with gorgeously melodic, television-esque guitar work into the 90s with his band Luna. The group made 4 critically acclaimed albums for Elektra, but in 1999 the label dropped them right on the eve of releasing the Days of Our Nights. Bastards, right? I mean, wow. And leaving them without American distribution. So the album was eventually released on the short-lived Jericho imprint, but as a result, the Days of Our Nights has been hard to find over the years, and in fact, this marks the first time it's been available as a standalone vinyl release in the U.S., but it really is a lost gem in their catalog. And as Wareham says, sometimes all you remember is the pain of making a record or the events swirling around its release, and it's only years later you come to appreciate the songs. The Days of Our Nights sounds like classic Luna, and we still play a handful of these songs in our live set. With Real Gone, the reissue here, it features an orange swirl pressing. It's housed inside a jacket and inner sleeve featuring lyrics, and I highly recommend this. It does tell you about the colorway on the sticker, but wow, that's a nice gem that's been unearthed for us. Okay, next up, this is Bruno Mars, 24 Karat Magic, and that is on Atlantic, the 3rd studio album by American singer-songwriter Bruno Mars. It was originally released by Atlantic in 2016. The album is mainly a tribute to early 90s R&B, and he says those 90s songs are what I was singing to get the girls in school, the songs that the girls like, what we were dancing to as children. And his affection for the music is palpable on this. That's What I Like has Boys to Men style finger snaps. Versace on the Floor could have been a soundtrack from a prom scene in a 90s high school movie, and Finesse is pitch perfect pastiche of the new jack swing sound that recalls Michael Jackson in 1992, his hit Remember the Time. Very few albums designed to sound like a party actually play like one, but Bruno Mars has pulled it off here, and I believe this one, although it doesn't say, I think because of the Atlantic 75 hologram sticker, I think this is on crystal clear vinyl. Again, there's no real indication of that, but I think that's the case. All right, this is Mammoth, WVH Mammoth 2, and this is through BMG Rights Management US. And this, of course, is Wolfgang Van Halen's band. And I give him credit for not following too closely in his father's footsteps. The 32-year-old son of the late guitar hero Eddie Van Halen, he kind of forgoes the bottom-thick classic rock of Van Halen, who Wolfgang played bass for during their final years. for a more radio polished kind of a variety of hard rock that was favored in the first part of the 2000s. On his second album as Mammoth WVH, Wolfgang Van Halen once again goes to the one-man band route, writing and performing all the songs. So Mammoth 2 doesn't move far from the basic outline of 2021's self-titled debut, checking off boxes that the riffs are easily digestible lyrics and impassioned vocals, but there's not a lot of originality here, but there isn't much to dislike either. As far as torch carrying goes, Van Halen does the family name proud, so, good for him. And this is on exclusive canary yellow vinyl, and it tells you that on the sticker. Okay, next up, this is Bob Marley, Africa Unite Through Island. The album, it portrays two worlds colliding from a whole new generation of Afro-fused musicians reinterpreting Bob Marley's classic songs. As the name suggests, unity is at the heart of the album. And that is without a doubt the focus, and it features Tiwa Savage, Tenny, Oxlade, Sarkodie, and more, and it's available on black vinyl. So it gives you a list here on the sticker of all the featured artists, and so it's pretty interesting piece there too. Okay, now for you jazz heads, we have Lee Morgan, The Infinity, and this is part of the Tone Poet series on the Blue Note label. So Lee Morgan's Infinity, which was recorded in 1965, but it not released until 1981, and it finds the great trumpeter leading a robust quintet featuring saxophonist Jackie McLean, pianist Larry Willis, bassist Reggie Workman, and drummer Billy Higgins to the far reaches of the hard bop tradition and beyond. Okay, Blue Note Tone Poet series is remastered from the original analog tapes on 180-gram vinyl and packaged in a deluxe gatefold tip-on jacket. And there we go. Just to keep it as retro as they can. Okay, now this is kind of some interesting stats on this. This is a reissue of Willie Nelson's Tetro, and this is on Island. Now, believe it or not, this was the 45th studio album released in 1998. So in 1998, this was his 45th album. So, whoa, again, he's like the King Giz of the country music world, right? Just cranking them out. Okay, so it contains tracks like The Maker and I Never Cared for You, Everywhere I Go, and more. It's available as a 25th anniversary pressing on 180-gram vinyl. So, wow, crazy. All right, here's a soundtrack for you for Starship Troopers, and this comes to us through Varis Saraband. And Starship Troopers, it's a cult classic sci-fi action film which follows the story of Johnny Rico and his friends, and they serve in the military during a war with an alien species known as arachnids. And this 2 LP deluxe edition marks the first ever vinyl release for Basil Polidorus' score of the film and features newly commissioned album art as well as a fold-out poster and exclusive new liner notes from director Paul Verhoeven and musician daughter of composer Zoe Polidorus. Am I saying that right? Polidorus. Okay, so that's available for you now. And various artists, another soundtrack, Great Expectations, the album. This is through Rilgon Music. It's 2 LPs. Okay, Alfonso Cuarón's 1998 film changed a few things from the original Charles Dickens novel. Abel Magwitch became Arthur Lustig, Miss Havisham became Nora Dinsmore, and Pip became Finn. And most importantly for our purposes, early 19th century London became 1990s New York. And so did the soundtrack featuring tunes by Chris Cornell, the rare track Sunflower, and Pulp, Scott Weiland, Iggy Pop, The Verve, Pipe. Its figures was like firmly on the pulse of the late 20th century music scene, and with a few welcome curveballs to boot. So collectors will also note that Tori Amos wrote the song Siren for the movie, and that Today by Poe, which, like several other songs in the score, didn't appear in the film, it kind of makes its only appearance here. Great Expectations, the album, originally released only on CD, so vinyl soundtrack collectors have been lobbying for years. to see it get out on wax. And they're obliging now with this 2 LP set inside this gorgeous gatefold jacket pressed on emerald green vinyl and limited to 2,000 copies. So yeah, first time on vinyl, and that is here for you now. Okay, so that wraps it up for the little preview of things. I'm going to post the full list down below. It has prices on it and a little more information maybe about different colors of vinyl, of those things too. Okay, so everybody have a great weekend, and I'm sorry for all the noise today. It's just kind of like I can't control the traffic, I can't control the sky, so, and I can't even control the clock that goes off in here. So it's a noisy time for all of us. But anyway, thank you for being here. I will see you guys next Friday.